Well, hi there, friends. It's so good to see you here on this Wednesday. We are halfway through the work week. Welcome to Up with KREM. I'm Tim Pham.
And I'm Channing Curtis. Oh, we're so excited about this Wednesday because you said we are halfway through the work week. And today's going to be a great day. Meteorologist Thomas Patrick is telling us about some rain, but listen, I love fall rainy weather. It's soothing, it's refreshing. It brings on a little bit of sweater weather. I'm here for this, Thomas.
Yeah, it's relaxing to me. I mean, sometimes when I try to fall asleep and just kind of get in the zone at night, you know, I put on the sounds of like the raindrops. Well, I didn't have to do that all this week because we've had plenty of rain to work with. And yesterday, well, that's going to match what we're seeing today. Morning rainfall starting to push through the inland northwest, most of it through central Washington right now. Moses Lake already getting a second batch of rainfall at the current hour, but we're focusing in over on Lincoln and Adams County, and this rainfall is now through Davenport, approaching Rearden, and getting closer towards Airway Heights and Spokane. So it looks like we are less than an hour away from some rainfall in the Spokane area. Probably give it a couple hours to reach Coeur d'Alene areas of North Idaho. But yeah, this is the more widespread rain that we will see through the morning. And I think we'll see scattered but decently heavy rain into the afternoon as well. What's going to be a very cool, very rainy, and decently windy fall day.
A pair of lawsuits have now been filed against Inland Power, alleging that the utility company is responsible for sparking the deadly gray fire near Medical Lake.
Well, just yesterday, DNR confirmed that the fire was in fact human caused. That fire killed one person, burned more than 11,000 acres, and destroyed more than 200 homes. One of the lawsuits against Inland Power blames the company's power lines, while the other blames it on outdoor lights installed by the company.
We know this was an Inland Power equipment, the wire, the pole, the light, the power pole and transformer it came from, and we hope to learn and retrace the history of this to find out why this malfunctioned so horribly.
KREM 2 reached out to Inland Power for comment. They told us in part, quote, "The cause is still under investigation and we will not make any speculations while an active investigation is still underway." Power companies have been blamed for starting fires in other states like California, Oregon, and most recently in Hawaii. It could be several months before fire investigators determine what really happened. You can depend on us to keep you updated.
While lawsuits have been filed for people impacted by the Gray Fire, communities north of Spokane are still reeling from the Oregon Road Fire, discovering new costs and new headaches when it comes to cleanup. Now asbestos testing, a required step for homeowners who lost everything, is setting people back thousands of dollars in insurance money.
You tested 40 down there in only one spot, so couldn't that just have been an object? Why is my whole place contaminated now? Those are questions that aren't getting answered, that are very expensive because they say so. You know, one and you're done.
Spokane County officials say they are working to secure state funding for debris management for uninsured homeowners needing to pay for asbestos testing. If funding is available, insured homeowners may also be eligible.
A new lawsuit against the Washington Department of Corrections claims unreliable drug tests were used to impose harsh punishments on inmates.
4 current and past inmates at the Airway Heights Correction Center say that a preliminary drug test on their items came back positive, and those positive results led to harsh punishments for them. One of the inmates was reportedly put in solitary confinement for several months, getting just 1 hour out of his cell every day. Another inmate says he lost his phone privileges for nearly 6 months, and another had his prison sentence extended by 75 days. But those initial results, according to the lawsuit, were later overturned when a lab test showed there was never any drugs on the inmates' belongings.
Most of the punishments imposed can't be undone. I mean, you're in solitary confinement for a few months. That's not something that you can get back, right? You can't undo that. If you've lost visitation options with your loved ones, that can't be undone.
The inmate's attorney tells KREM 2 the goal is to stop the department from regularly using these drug tests as a means for imposing punishment. We reached out to the Department of Corrections for comment on this lawsuit, but they told us they don't comment on past, future, or pending legal matters. In the meantime, last night, the Spokane Valley City Council opted to not vote on a resolution related to a new Spokane County tax known as Measure 1. If Measure 1 is approved by voters in November, Spokane County residents would see a sales tax increase of 0.2%. A portion of the money collected would be used to build a new community correction center behind the current jail, and they would close Geiger Correction Center and expand the jail in downtown Spokane. The council was asked to consider a resolution either supporting or opposing Measure 1, but they instead did not pass any resolution at all.
This morning, Idaho lawmakers are racing against the clock and working behind the scenes to organize a special legislative session. This comes after a new law passed this year inadvertently got rid of the state's presidential primary. Earlier this year, Idaho lawmakers passed a bill that would move Idaho's presidential primary from March to May. Supporters of the bill say the move would help save the state almost $3 million every 4 years. The law that was passed eliminated the March primary, but it didn't actually say anything about moving it to May. A bill that would have fixed the technicality failed to pass during the legislative session. Now, the Republican National Committee has given lawmakers until Sunday to pass a fix, or the primary will switch to a caucus system.
We're trying to figure out with the state party what that clock really means. We're told that there is an October 1st decision point with the National Republican Party as to our state party deciding how they are going to select presidential delegates. That's what this is about. This is about selecting presidential delegates.
60% of both the Idaho House and Senate need to sign a petition to call a special session. Both chambers have reached that threshold, but on two completely different petitions. The House wants to keep the primary in March, while the Senate wants to move it back to May.
Well, more than 2 years after being demolished by this out-of-control dump truck that's on your screen, the Dutch Bros on Freya Street officially reopens today. And this morning, we sent our Brandon T. Jones out there right now to get a little cat feed and to tell us all about the coffee stand's big return. Brandon, I understand people have been already lining up for hours to get their coffee from Dutch Bros.
Yeah, Channing, that's exactly right. And it's a straight up celebration here at the Dutch Bros on Freya. I want to go ahead and step out of the way so you can get a little bit of a closer look, because we're going to behind the scenes look at all of the staff, all of the workers who are pushing out this coffee early in the morning, and just happy to be back here in this particular stand after, what happened a few years ago. A little bit more than 2 years ago, this building was just debris. It was completely destroyed, deemed a complete loss because of what happened in that dump truck being out of control. So as I mentioned, that happened back in 2021, and there was no telling when or if this location would be able to recover. 7 people, including 1 employee, were injured. The building was deemed a complete loss. And as for the driver of that truck, he pled guilty to vehicle assault after admitting to using meth the night before the crash. He was sentenced to 15 months in prison and 18 months in community custody. Throughout the morning, we'll be talking to employees, customers, and management here at Dutch Bros. And also another cool tidbit about the grand reopening of this Dutch Bros. Some of the people were here that day, or they were staff here at this Dutch Bros, or they had family working here at the time. They've returned here to this Dutch Bros as well. So you can imagine it's been a long time coming, and there's a lot of excitement in here. And as I mentioned, we're gonna be talking with them throughout the morning. If you see us out there, if you're a customer, come in. We might stop by and interview you as well if you're out for being on TV. But for now, reporting live at the Dutch Bros on Freya, Brandon T. Jones, KREM 2 News.
Weather-wise this morning, expecting rainfall in about an hour or so here in Spokane, so we won't see a whole lot of sunshine. Not this morning, probably not for most of the day today. Unlike yesterday where we got a little bit of some breaks in the cloud cover, I think today probably even more widespread rain, especially once it starts coming down later on this morning. Current temperature at 49 degrees, a little bit cooler than it was yesterday morning, and that rain is incoming. You can see the shield and how widespread that rain is through central Washington as it is advancing closer and closer to not just Spokane, but other areas like in the Palouse. Should be minutes away now in Pullman. It looks like the first raindrops are just starting to fall in Colfax. So this is just the first push of rainfall. And once it starts this morning, probably going to last through a better part of the morning hours. And we'll see how our scattered afternoon showers will develop later today.